Hey everybody, it's Meg from Books Off the Beaten Path, and I am back in my old place today because we're doing an early morning book review. And we are reviewing Agatha Christie's Murder at Hazelmoore. And let me tell you, I did not enjoy this one as much as I was expecting to enjoy it. I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads, and let me tell you why. And stop before you do anything else on this video, there will be spoilers. So if you want to read Murder at Hazelmoore, stop watching now. If you want to hear the spoilers and the good stuff, keep watching. Okay, so let me give you the setup. We have everybody at a party, it's a winter's night, and they start doing table tipping, which is kind of like early Ouija boarding, where they get a table out and they tip it. I mean, you put your hands on it and the table starts to move around, meaning you call the spirit and the spirit starts spelling stuff out by how many knocks and bumps and everything like that it does and all this kind of stuff. And so it spells out murder. And it spells out murder of Captain, I'm gonna get these names wrong, but I'm gonna try. Captain Trevelyan. Captain Trevelyan has been murdered. And so, of course, they're all shocked. Ah, how would the table know that and everything like that? And so, Major Burnaby says, well, I better go check because he's my best friend and I better go check. So they're like, no, don't go. It's a snowstorm. You'll get lost and everything like that. And he's like, no, I need to go and everything like that. So, of course, he goes and he finds the captain dead. The captain has been hit over the head with a sandbag, which you wouldn't think would have killed him, but whatever. It killed him. And he's been hit over with a sandbag and what to do. So the Inspector Narcart, is called in on it. And they immediately arrest the nephew, who does not have an alibi. He was not at the party. And he did have a fight with the captain earlier about money, but he's not at the party, so they immediately arrest him. Now, our sleuth is Emily. And Emily was a #1+. She was fantastic. She was one of the best Agatha Christie characters I've ever come across. She was courageous, she was smart, she was manipulative, and she talks, has that inner dialogue about being manipulative. That's one of the reasons she wants to marry the nephew, is because he's so weak, she knows she can manipulate him. And that's the relationship that she wants, and she's very frank about that. And so she gets involved with this newspaper man called EMBR. And they decide that they're going to go and they're going to try to find who killed the captain. And it's just all of these red herrings. Like, we've got this couple. Well, they're not really a couple. It's a mother and a daughter, and they're from South Africa. But are they? Are they from South Africa? And why do we care? Well, we don't care because that was a red herring. And then we've got, all kinds of mysterious goings on with Mr. Duke's house. They're going into Mr. Duke's house and everything like that. That's Inspector Narcott all the time. And nobody sees Mr. Duke. Only Inspector Narcott sees Mr. Duke. Well, then we find out at the end that Mr. Duke was a retired inspector from Scotland Yard. Why couldn't we know that? It had no bearing on the mystery whatsoever. Why couldn't we know that? And then, Emily finds boots. There's these boots missing, and that's like a big deal. It's the captain's boots. His winter boots are missing. Where are the winter boots? Gotta find the winter boots. I still don't get the boots. We do find the boots. The boots are shoved up in a chimney, but I finished it last night, and I read it over a couple of times, the last chapter, and I was tired. And I'm old, and I'm not as sharp-witted as I used to be, but I was like, I still don't get the significance of the boots. You had the atmosphere. I'm going to give her the 3 stars because you had that classic Agatha Christie atmosphere. You had the house party and who could have done it, and nobody could have done it, but somebody did do it. We had a lot of tea taking. There was a lot of tea going on. And the inspectors, and we had all of that goings on, and we had, oh my goodness, what does it all mean, and everything, and the table tipping, and all this kind of nonsense. And then we had Brian, who is from Australia, and he's the brother of the nephew who's been incarcerated. But what is he? He's a horrible person apparently, but what does he have to do with it? Nothing. He has nothing to do with it, just so you know. Yeah, overall, let me see what the copyright date was on this. I was pretty disappointed. It was 1931. I was pretty disappointed in it because I felt like the premise, I don't know what Agatha Christie was doing in 1931, if it was the height of her career, if it was the beginning of her career or what. But my basic point, my biggest contention with the book was the captain. Okay, so the captain is the one who got murdered, right? And the major is the one who finds him. And I knew immediately that he was the murderer because somebody at the table tipping had to know that the captain was dead. And so he was the captain's best friend. I was like, I know he did it. I know somehow he did it, but I don't know exactly how. My question was, why would he table tip and inform everyone that the captain was dead when they lived in this remote little village that was snowed in and it was really hard to get places? I mean, he could have left the captain there for days and no one would know that he was dead. And that would have been, to me, the most logical thing to do, other than getting on skis, which he hid somewhere. I never figured out where he hid the skis. If she told me, I missed it. Now, some of you are going to be out there saying, hey, I read that book. And you totally missed it, Meg. You totally screwed it up. And I will accept that. I will accept that I totally screwed that up. But I'm telling you, I didn't enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed many, many of her others, because I just didn't think, I mean, with Agatha Christie, with any mystery novel, you have to suspend the window of belief for a little bit. This one asked me to do it too much. It just asked me to do it too much. But Emily, loved Emily. She was great. And I loved her talking about how she wanted a relationship with men where she would be in charge. She knew that socioeconomically and in society she would not be in charge, but she also knew that she could have a relationship with men where she would be in charge and they wouldn't even know she was in charge. So Emily, 2 thumbs up. So my next read is going to be Did you just see that camera fall out of thin air? Just fall on the ground? I swear to God, that was Visitation by Agatha Christie, who's probably really pissed off at me. Anyway, my next read, Agatha, is going to be this one. It's an indie book, and I'm going to review it for my indie writers, and I'm excited about that, and it's called The Redemption of Maddie Silks, based on a true story. And it's a Western. I'm not a big Western person, but I'm excited to read it, and that starts tonight. So in the meantime, I'm so glad to see all of you guys. Leave me a comment, leave me a comment. You know how I love the comments, and I will check you later.